How's it going, everyone? So, I've been using the Tandem app for the last year or so, and I wanted to provide my experience that I've had with the platform. But before I do, I want to provide a rundown of what exactly Tandem is and what you can expect from the platform. The bulk of their business model is on issuing credit cards to customers, and their target market are customers which have had little to no credit rating, and so it's somewhat easier to be given a credit card that's issued by Tandem. Now, in addition to credit cards, they also offer fixed savers, and we'll actually have a look at that first. So the good news is that the money held into the account is protected by FSCS up to £85,000. Now, depending on which type of fixed saver you use, your money can either be locked in for 1, 2, or 3 years, and the longer your money is locked in, the higher the interest rate. So 1.25% for 1 year, 1.35% for 2 years, and 1.45% for 3 years. So these numbers are actually quite low, and there's definitely alternatives out there that I will be discussing in the future. So on the sole basis of opening a savings account within Tandem, there's literally no point. Okay, so let's go to the sole part of Tandem's business model, which is issuing out credit cards for customers. Now, when I initially signed up, I could only have access to the Journey credit card, and that was just because my credit score at the time was non-existent. It's the chicken and egg problem, where you need credit, but you need to be issued a credit card to increase your credit score. Now, in the past, it was possible to have a cashback credit card which provided you with 0.5% cashback on every single transaction. So that has since changed, and we can see the disclaimer here. So our cashback credit card is changing and Tandem membership is coming. So from what I've read, in March, the cashback credit card will still be providing you with 0.5% cashback, but you will now have to pay a monthly fee of £5.99. So I'm not sure why such a business decision was made. Earning 0.5% on cashback is such a small number to begin with that it makes no sense to have to pay on a monthly basis. So unless you are spending £1,200 every single month, and even then you will just break even, I have no idea why anyone would want the Tandem membership. And just for the record, you can go with different credit card companies such as Aqua or Amex, who also offer much higher or the same cashback percentage, and there are zero costs to hold that credit card. So that just really leaves us with the Journey credit card, which does not offer any cashback whatsoever. And so with that said, there is nothing going for Tandem, and there's nothing else I can really recommend. So now I want to talk about my experience with Tandem Bank, and I want to explain why I chose this bank in the first place and the problems I've had throughout the process. So I mentioned earlier that I went with the Journey credit card just to build credit, and at the time was unable to receive the cashback credit card, which was free. Now, I wanted an application that allowed me to communicate with customer support very easily, and so Tandem seemed to be a suitable option. Now, for the first 6 months or so, I generally had a good experience with the app. I never encountered any issues when using the Tandem card, which is MasterCard, either home or abroad. There were no issues there. And in terms of the customer support, I generally had good conversations with the support team whenever I needed to. Now, after the 6 months, I already knew that my credit history was really good, and that was because I opened up an Amex card and an Aqua card. And so for the first 3 months, I used the Amex card due to the 5% cashback, and subsequently switched to the Aqua card just because I was doing a lot of international traveling. So the first red flag I had when using the Tandem account was when I opened up a fixed saver, and I had to do that because I was planning on switching to the cashback credit card, and so I decided to open up the fixed saver. And it was at this point where I received some letters to my home address, and the letter stated that my account address had been updated, and so I checked on the app everything seemed okay there, and so I reached out to a member of the support team to explain I received a couple of letters, all the same, stating that my address had been updated. Now, they confirmed that everything was the same and that it was just a mistake on their end, but they had a very relaxed nature to their response. But I didn't think much of it. I was generally happy that no one hacked my information, and I continued. Now, the true red flag was when I received a push notification stating that I was approved for the cashback credit card and that my new card was being sent into the mail. Now, a few weeks went by where that card didn't come, so I reached out to customer support, explained the situation, and I was pretty much told to stop messaging the individual and that I had to ring up to provide extra information. There was no reason for them to tell me to ring up by phone and provide additional details about myself. So I eventually decided that I wanted to completely close the account. So, as you always do, I sent a message within the app to one of the customer support members, and time again, they always tell you that you have to ring up to close the account. Now, they state they are open 7 days a week, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. That's not always the case, at least when I first rang up on a Sunday. Nobody picked up the phone line, so I tried the following Monday. And so once I was able to actually phone someone from the team, I was presented with a series of 5 to 6 security questions. Now, what happens is you have to pass all of those security questions. You can't get any wrong. And I was told from their end that I got one or more of the security questions wrong. Now, I'm pretty sure I know when I was born, how much my credit limit is, and what was the payment of my last transaction. And so it was at this point when I told them that their system was an absolute joke. So after apparently failing those security questions, they then decided to suspend my account. Now, I personally didn't care. I wasn't using the card. And so I told them I simply just want them to fully close my account so that my information is gone and I can delete the app. Now, they said it wasn't possible to do so. Once they suspended the account, I then had to be re-registered, i.e. reopen the account. And from then, they could then close the account. On top of that, I had to provide additional information, so driver's license or passport, and another form to prove my address. Now, I was definitely frustrated at this point. I told the individual that although I wasn't annoyed with them, I was annoyed with the system, and it made no sense given that I owed no money to the credit card company. They owed no money to me, and so it seemed very strange that you have to pass a bunch of security questions when I already have app access. And at that point, they knew exactly who they were talking to. So anyway, I really wanted the account closed. I provided them with the information they needed. After 3 or 4 different pieces of personal information that I provided, they eventually said the information was good, but it would take a few days for my card to be active again. Now, I tried a few days later to ring up, and it was at this point where I realized that they blocked my phone number. And so again, reached out to customer support within the app, and I initially queried whether their phone lines were active, and they confirmed that they were receiving phone calls throughout the day and that they were actually reasonably busy. And so it was at this point where I tried a different number, was able to get through, and so that allowed me to confirm that they did indeed block my phone number that I initially rang up on. So as it stands, I've gone through a different avenue to try and resolve the issue, and the issue being that I want to simply remove my account. Now, because of all the issues that I had, it also became apparent to me that this company isn't GDPR compliant. And for those unaware of what GDPR is, I actually spoke about it in one of my previous videos. Now, because GDPR is quite interesting, it affects a lot of companies, I just want to show you what the CEO of Tandem says when he talks about GDPR.
We're here to talk about 3 reasons why you should give a shit about GDPR. Number 3, and this is a really important one, is the right to be forgotten. This means that you can request from anybody who holds data on you that they delete all data that's personally identifiable.
So I decided to take Ricky's advice, and so I contacted one of the members of Tandem support. And so I said, I have a few questions I would like answering. When I initially requested my account to be removed, I had to go through a phone call with security checks. One or more were stated incorrectly on my end, and so the action Tandem took was to block my account, but not to fully remove myself from the company's system, which is the whole reason for my phone call initially. I then had to submit information regarding my identity and home location to have my account enabled again, which by your response will take a few days. It's very strange that a simple request to remove my account led to your company having additional information on me, not to mention that providing you with my passport and proof of address is still not enough to fully remove myself from your system. I can see that there is no ability from your app for me to request what type of information you have about me. Therefore, I do request that once my account has been removed, I am fully removed from the system. Now, the response I got was the same as always. Give them a phone call on the number they provide, hit option 2, and so my response to that obviously was I found out Tandem blocked my phone number and I decided to take a different form of action. So I definitely hope that no one else has these types of experiences with Tandem. I cannot recommend Tandem at all. Obviously, I've had this negative experience, and so I'd be inclined to say avoid them at all costs. But I would give you exactly the same response if I didn't have any of these negative experiences, just because there are no benefits to the card. There are cheaper alternatives with the same or higher cashback rates. So if you are interested in having a credit card, whether it's your first one or your 10th, then do check out Amex, check out Aqua. Now, just to wrap up the video, because Ricky was very helpful with the information he provided, I just want to take a look at what else he has stated in the past.
I mean, the real difference for Tandem, and there are two aspects. One is that we really talk about being a purpose-driven organization. We talk about actually measuring the income, the impact that we have on customers' lives.
So Ricky managed to eventually get out what he was trying to convey. So it's possible that Tandem still wants me to be a member of their company so that they can somehow measure the impact that they have on my life. But let's see what else Ricky mentions.
And we measure something called customer lifetime benefit, which is not how much did we take off the customer, that's customer lifetime value, but how much did we give back to them in terms of money we've saved for them, in terms of versus their other banking relationships, money they didn't have to pay.
So I didn't actually save a penny. I wasn't provided with the cashback credit card. Now, fortunately, that wasn't the case, and individuals that had the cashback are now leaving the platform. But let's let Ricky speak a little bit more.
And how much we've benefited them also sort of emotionally and spiritually, that's a little bit harder to measure.
Benefited emotionally and spiritually. I'm lost for words.
We've been working very hard on gathering and analyzing data to understand our customers, get to know them better all the time.
So Tandem analyzed this. If someone wants you to be removed from their platform, you should do so at their request. If an individual has paid off their credit in full and no one owes any money, there's no reason for people to have to ring up phone lines. I suspect you like people ringing 0203 numbers so that they incur a fee on their end and you try and make money that way. On top of that, you change your business model so that people earn at 0.5% but then have to spend over 1,200 to make 1p profit. Your entire business model is crumbling, and I can't wait until I'm no longer a member of Tandem Bank. So hopefully this video was helpful for others, but with that said, I'll catch you in the next one.